Welcome to WTSS Season 7. We're at the 23rd round here at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza, or better known as the Monza Circuit in Italy. One of the most famous racetracks in the world, has played host to the top echelons of racing for decades in the past and decades to come. WTSS graces this hallowed land for the first time ever, with a 15-minute group qualifying session to set the starting order for this fabled event for the first time in WTSS history. Chris Dodd is immediately out onto the racetrack, the first car out to try and set a time. And now the question being, who can put down the best lap when it counts? Multiple chicanes that these stock cars do not like navigating are going to be all over these laps to hamper these drivers' progresses. 40 cars have been jam-packed into this very narrow pit lane that normally never has to hold any more than 25 cars. And immediately out onto the racetrack, everybody funnels out there. It may be a 15-minute session like normal on the road courses, but this is one of the longer circuits in terms of actual length that we go to this season. And so you're going to want to get out there quick to get laps on the board. Coming into this race after Fakisa Freeway, a chaotic ending to the event, saw a fuel mileage run to the finish due to a timing of the caution at the midpoint of the race. After the event after the dust was settled and after everybody had figured out where they finished and what had happened, Ryan Reed still managed to somehow extend his championship lead by 1 point, even though he also ran out of fuel in the end of the race. But it was nobody that could deny Cale Tescar Jr. a first career victory in the WTSS. Even without the fuel mileage finish, he had it won. He was miles ahead by the time all the chaos hit. And now, we're here at Monza, focusing on Chris Dodd, the first push lap of the session. You may see times pop up on the timing screen, but those are laps of people that crossed start-finish in the pit lane to begin their outlap, if you see anybody pop up before Dodd. Dodd won the season opener at Canadian Tire. Then got a pole just a couple races later. Since then, basically radio silence from the Season 5 champion, 21st in points with just 8 races to go on the season. He'll be definitely looking to have a pick-me-up in the latter stages of this season. As you can see there, people crossing the line that started their lap in the pit lane. Nothing of importance out of those drivers. This will be the first notable lap of the session. Has anybody still not left the pits? It looks like everybody is out there on track right now. Out on track. The last car to join the racetrack, Jeff McLennan in the 87. Down to Parabolica, one of the most famous corners in all of racing. But these cars do not like long, flat right-hand corners. Chris Dodd comes across the line to complete the first timed official lap of the session around Monza, and it's a 1:48.508. That is the time to beat for everybody else on this racetrack. Who is the next person out there on a timed lap? So far, nobody has crossed the line on one. Wangzawat might possibly be. We'll have to see across start-finish. Yes, a 48.591. 900ths down. Even with a bit of traffic. So that looks like a pretty fast lap from Wangzawat. 48.539 from Hu Jian with a test car with we got 5 different people in the 48.5s, but nobody's been able to exceed it. That's kind of incredible. Engritz goes up to 6th quickest. He's going to want something more than that. There's an improvement. That's Ryan Bolden with a 1:48.209. There's the first real money lap. 1:47.429 from Eugene DeMax. That is the true benchmark. That is where people are going to be chasing all session. Another 47. It's Arnie Nugroho. Alex Bignacco joins the 47 club. .48.5 seems like a really popular lap time right now. People are just putting down those times. Some people in the 49s. I don't think I've seen anybody in the 50s, so nobody's horrifically off pace compared to the rest of the field, but it is still a huge field spread through these first few laps of qualifying. Though DeMax quickest at the moment. Chris Dodd goes to second quickest with a 47.851, and the times will continue to drop as this session continues. 48.199 for Logan Hill. Good lap from the 11. .007 for Chanarong Wansawat. How about McLennan? Last one across the line to finish a push lap. It's a 48.8 for the 87 car. Sean Angel jumps up into the 6th position. That's a big lap for him. Engritz only musters 15th. Angel second in the championship coming into today. Needs every amount of advantage he can gain on Ryan Reed. Bolden improves again to find his way up to the front row. 47.697 for the 7 car. Will Hoyt ties Sean Angel, goes up to 7th quickest, the man who's recently entered the top 3 in the championship for the first time this season. Nugroho goes back up to 2nd place. Alex Bignacco finds his way up into 5th. Allison Figueroa, your Watkins Glen winner, goes up onto the front row now with a 5.26. Oh, important lap for Ryan Reed. He beats both Angel and Will Hoyt to go 8th quickest. Yuki Tamura's 11th place. She's still not out of this championship fight. And that's another good lap from a championship hopeful. Top 6 have cracked into the 47s. No one else has been able to do so. Top 7 now. Logan Hill. Make that 8. Sebastian Van Dalen. No major improvement for Constantine there. How about Mitchell Mark? He's one of your title contenders. He goes 17th. Said he was not looking forward to the road course races for the rest of this season. Scott Roush goes 11th place to displace his teammates' championship rivals. McLennan, only good enough for 22nd so far. Fujian up in 16th. 17th for Roberto Crown Jr. there. The man on a hot streak right now in that 46. Even with that bad luck he had last race. Still on a hot streak. Duncan only improves to 25th. He's been the one lagging behind at the Maverick camp this season. Will Hoyt almost improves, but can't find one, possibly due to Elijah Innes' traffic. Top of the board, Arnie Nugroho. 1:47.357. Fastest of them all, with 6 minutes remaining in the session. And your Lime Rock winner, finding a time good enough to put him on top. Can anybody topple that time? That is a huge lap. 47.8 for Jake Stavinoff. 47.9 for Ryan Reed. Big laps for the Roush Racing Enterprises cars. Yuki Tamura goes up to 12th. Immediately gets bumped by Finguy, who goes to 12th. Bishelia still can't find anything. How about Gibson? No. Nor can Dodd, who still finds himself 7th fastest. The top 10 have now all set 1:47s. Can Logan Hill find an even further improvement? No, he can't. Neither can Van Dalen. It seems these tires are very temperamental. If you do one big push lap to get into the 47s, you really heat them up and you got to cool them back down. Ray Takeda, top of the board, 1:47.333. Could this be redemption from Watkins Glen? the heartbreak of defeat we saw earlier in the season at that event after showing so much speed in qualifying and the race. Could this be the moment where she gets the one-up? And a massive engine failure for Jeff McLennan! I don't believe what I'm seeing! Another Subaru engine failure! They've started to get better with their reliability. There's been way less frequency of mechanical failures, but the story stays the same. A Maverick Motorsports car is up in smoke, and it's one of the most crucial moments of the season for the young rookie. 5th in points coming into today at Monza, and will not get a chance to respond, and will continue to fall down the order as people find improvements. Unbelievable. Patrick Smith goes 8th fastest with a 47.8. Voiles puts down a 47.8, goes 10th quickest. Oh, traffic for these 3 Roush drivers there of Stavinaugh, Reed, and Tamura. None of them are going to find any improvements there. Curtis is into the pits. I think he's calling it quits on his qualifying. I don't think there's enough time to get back out. Maybe there is if he comes straight back out on the track, but I think they might be more focusing on their race now. Michalia can't do anything. Gibson and Dodd once more, nothing. Cale Teskar Jr., your most recent race winner, and the man who battled for the victory on 3 separate road courses to start the season off as Van Dalen goes 5th quickest. Teskar is finding himself dead last in the final 3.5 minutes of this session. Mitchell Mark, nothing. Takeda finds another 47, but it's a 47.9, not an improvement. And Takeda's teammate, Hu Ji-yeon, finding herself up to the front now. Not quite. 22nd is where she stays for now. Teskar improves up to 35th quickest. Crown finds 21st. Angel finds 7th. He's now the highest of the title contenders. And that bumps Ryan Reed to 14th now. Mark Nutt, 30th. Patrick Smith goes even quicker to 7th fastest with a 47.759. Tristan Wilhoit's got nothing. He's still 20th. And a tire failure for Elijah Innes in the 1 car. He's going to come into the pits and end his qualifying as Fabio Vitabasa finds 13th place at his and his team's home race. Oh, the 3 Roush drivers having to navigate the Parabolica with Ryan Reed deciding to come in and call it quits on his qualifying. 15th is the best he'll be able to muster if nobody else can improve. No one's been able to topple the time set by Ray Takeda as we enter the final 2 minutes of the session. Some people are calling it quits. They're coming in. They don't think they can do any better. Mitchell Mark is one person that needs it. He needs to find a better time. Can't do it again. Nobody in that group finds anything. Scott Roush almost did, but just about matches his best time. Hu Ji-yeon across the line. Does find an improvement, but only improves by 1 position up to 21st. Curtis is back out on the racetrack on a fresh set of tires. But is it enough? Is it enough? Does he have enough temperature in the tires? Does he have enough oomph left in him to put that lap down? Mark Nutt improves to 26th. Eugene DeMax finds a time, but it's not good enough. He stays 3rd. He doesn't improve his position. He misses out on pole by 0.06 of a second. They've got Jeff McLennan back out on track to shake down the backup car. Not enough time to start a push lap left for him. Nobody else out there finding time so far. Bobby Frazier, who finds himself last place, as we've seen a lot on these road courses. He stays there for now. Nothing happening for those guys in that group right there. Boschelli is across the line. He can't find anything. Gibson and Dodd really have not been finding anything either. Nothing. Logan Hill and Sebastian Van Dalen, they have been a hot spot of hot laps so far in this session. No improvements. Standby has started. Minute 45 to get around and finish whatever lap you've started. Any time that you've started after that point will not count. No improvements from the first 4 cars to come across the line. How about Hu Ji-yeon, who just set a personal best last time around? Does she have anything left in the tank? No, she does not. Test car does find an improvement. Stays 36th though. Roberto Crown Jr. finds 19th, but immediately gets jumped by DJ Curtis, who finds 18th place. Time is still being found out there, but is anybody capable of toppling the top 3 positions? Mark Nutt, nothing. Bolden, nothing. Stevens, nothing. DeMax, it's a 47.6, but it's not good enough to jump up the order. Duncan improves to 23rd at the end. None of these guys back here finding any time. Daniel Voiles, he can't find any time. Norkin Craston, Benyako, Reed, Vita Bassa, Figueroa, Shepard, Louviere. They're all trying to find it. They're all trying to just do something with what they've got left. Frazier, he will start from last place today. The Roush teammates can't do anything. Finn guy can't. How about Bichelia? 37th place is not where that 27 wants to be. He stays there. 37th is where it is. Gibson, Dodd, nothing. Hill and Van Dalen might be the last 2 to try. And Constantine can't make the time. That means that on pole at Monza is the 50 car, Ray Takada, for Crescent Enterprises. And at long last, she finds herself to the front of the field once again in the WTSS. It's her first pole of the season, her second front row start after Watkins Glen. Could redemption be on the cards for the Crescent Enterprises driver? It's Takada ahead of Arnie Nugroho, Eugene DeMax, Allison Figueroa, Sebastian Van Dalen, the top 5, Ryan Bolden in 6th, Patrick Smith, Sean Angel putting his mark on the championship picture in 8th, Jake Stavanaugh and Chris Dodd, the top 10, Voiles, Benyako, Vita Bassa, Hill, and championship leader Ryan Reed rounding out the top 15. The rest of the running order is as follows. Yuki Tamura in 19th place, Tristan Wilhoit in 22nd, Chris Louviere in 25th, Mitchell Mark in 29th, Jeff McLennan in 30th. Big championship names, all starting in the second half of the field. But Takada, alongside Rookie Nugroho, who have both been strong on the road courses this season, find themselves on the front row with DeMax, who was strong in Watkins Glen, in 3rd, Figueroa, that Watkins Glen winner, in 4th. Big names at the front. Strong field ahead of us. 35 laps at Monza. Congratulations to Ray Takada on pole. Let's get to the race.